Jays are headed home, one win from a championship.
We're one sleep away from a chance to win it all on home soil. Good evening. The Jays had a workout late this afternoon, and fans are getting ready for Game 6.
We know the Dodgers aren't going to give up without a fight, but there is an air of confidence today. CTV's Allison Hurst has been talking to fans and players and joins us now live from the Rogers Center. Allison.
On the first pitch of the game,
with a fly ball to deep left.
Davis Schneider hit it out of the park.
No way! No way!
And no one loved it more than his dad.
His meta glasses are a little bit, they're kind of dumb. I don't know why he wears those all the time, but yeah, those are the glasses he was wearing. But you know, it's great to have my family out here.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up next, doubled down.
And two batters in, they are up 2-0.
Back-to-back home runs to start Game 5.
Oh my God, big win. Babe Schneider, Vladdy Daddy, Placata. Oh my gosh, the first time ever in a World Series, back-to-back home runs to start the game. It's crazy. I can't believe this right now.
But perhaps the biggest storyline of Game 5, starting pitcher 22-year-old Trey Yesavage and his dominance on the mound, setting a new World Series rookie record with 12 strikeouts.
The guy's only 22 years old, and he's playing at, like, super high level. This is, like, unheard of. Stuff legends are made of.
Yesavage silenced the star-studded Dodgers offense, holding them to just one solo home run.
It's a crazy world, crazy world. Hollywood couldn't have made it this good.
It's a different pitcher when he has his stuff. You know, Game 1 didn't have a feel for his split, so kind of blown away at what he did.
Also making his former pitching coach proud.
This is an unprecedented outing in a lot of ways, but, you know, specifically with Trey being 22 and only being in the big leagues for 6 weeks, it's honestly one of the best outings, I think, in postseason or World Series history.
The Jays are turning their attention to Game 6, a rematch between Kevin Gausman and the Dodgers' Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who in Game 2 pitched a complete game.
Yamamoto does seem like he's a little bit, but I think it might be because we haven't played the Dodgers that much. So there might, now that we've seen him running, there might be a plan to make sure something happens for Game 6.
Blake and Austin de Nobrega have big plans for Game 6.
My friend will be over for a sleepover with me, so I hope we can watch them win on Friday. Yeah, I think we're gonna end trick-or-treating early so that we can go back and watch it.
And hope the Jays win the Fall Classic in 6, in the 6.
And we are also hearing from Toronto Police. They're telling us that every division and unit has been mobilized for the weekend. They are also getting some assistance from neighboring police forces, OPP, Durham Regional Police, and Peel Police. So fans are being told that they should expect to see a heightened police presence both inside and outside Rogers Centre. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. And there will be World Series watch parties outside as well as Halloween, trick-or-treating. The big question is, will there be rain? And right now we can see that we have a soggy sight looking at the downtown core. We've had quite a bit of rain today. What's on tap for tomorrow? Lindsay Morrison is here with the specifics. Lindsay.
Well, Michelle, in many ways, the weather is going to improve. It'll be drier by this time tomorrow, but it might also be a little windier and a little cooler. Here's a look at our current satellite and radar. Going to zoom in a little closer to show you some pretty heavy rain bands making their way through the GTA right now. It is going to be a soggy evening. Rainfall warnings are in place for eastern sections of Ontario and southern Quebec. That's where the rain will be a little heavier. Now, we do have northerly winds now gusting close to 40 kilometers per hour, might gust to 60 before the night is finished. 7 degrees at this hour, 5 for the overnight. We're going to take you through the Halloween and Game 6 forecast coming up. For now, Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. The video coming out of Jamaica in the wake of Hurricane Melissa's wrath shows just how catastrophic the storm was. And today, Canada has answered the appeal for help after the Category 5 storm pummeled the Caribbean, leaving a path of destruction and a climbing death toll. CTV's Abigail Beeman with rescue efforts on the ground and where the aid is needed most.
This family fights tears, surveying the damage to their home in coastal Black River.
If we had stayed, we'd have died.
and at the same time feels fortunate.
And thank God I can find a bed to sleep on. So even though they are soaking wet, but we can lean them up with the water can and drain out. If we even sit up, we will manage. We will manage.
Hurricane Melissa has killed dozens and caused massive destruction across Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba.
Today, our government is providing $7 million in humanitarian assistance.
That promise from Ottawa breaks down to $5 million for humanitarian partners providing aid such as sanitation and clean water, and $2 million for the World Food Program distributing food and relief. The government says Canada hasn't received any requests for military or personnel help, but stands ready.
We're standing with the Caribbean today, and we'll be here tomorrow to help rebuild stronger, safer, and more resilient.
We think this is going to be a little worse than what the initial reports are looking like.
The group Global Medic has portable water purification units and family emergency kits on the way to Jamaica, offering drone service as well. Rahul Singh says being on an island poses additional challenges.
There's less infrastructure and less capacity for folks to go to. And then with the flooding, and then the flooding sitting there, you've got to get rid of that water.
Tonight, Hurricane Melissa batters on towards Bermuda, downgraded to a still very powerful Category 2 storm. At this point, it's forecast to be a post-tropical storm as it passes Canada's east coast early Saturday morning. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
To Mississauga now, and a carjacking investigation where a Toronto police officer fired his gun.
The incident happened last night, and the province's Special Investigations Unit is looking into the matter. CTV's John Musselman has the story.
There were several bullet holes visible on the passenger side windows and the windshield of this BMW. It was hit by gunfire during an interaction between two suspects and Toronto police. It happened around 9 o'clock last night in this parking garage at a Mississauga townhouse complex near Dundas and Tompkin Road. This resident, who didn't want to show her face on camera, says she heard multiple gunshots.
I heard like 3 gunshots, and I was telling my neighbor like if she's noticed any suspicious activity, and next thing you know, like 3 gunshots happen, and like I was worried. I looked out my balcony. 3 minutes later, there were like cops just around the place, SWAT team with like assault rifles.
Just 3 gunshots.
And what did you think was going on?
I wasn't sure. We just stayed inside.
According to investigators with the SIU, Toronto police were stationed in the Mississauga parking garage as part of an investigation into a carjacking that had taken place a few days earlier at a car wash in Rexdale. The officers conducted a takedown and shots were fired. One suspect was arrested. The second suspect took off. The SIU says it's unclear if the suspect was injured by police gunfire. There was blood visible near the exit door of the parking garage. A high-end Rolls-Royce was also removed from the garage and sealed by police for further examination. The SIU has taken over this case. No police officers were injured. Anyone with information is asked to call Toronto Police or Crime Stoppers. John Musselman, CTV News in Mississauga.
Well, the days for automated speed enforcement cameras are numbered.
Before government legislation aimed at forcing municipalities to pull the plug has passed. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has the details.
Less than 2 weeks after it was introduced, the bill that includes turning off speed cameras has cruised through Queen's Park. The government fast-tracking the legislation despite calls for compromise.
I don't think they should remove. Then at the very least, they need to have all the other traffic calming measures installed first.
Roundabouts and speed bumps the Premier believes will do a better job at slowing drivers down. Ticketing stops by November 14th, but there's no arrival time for those road changes.
We'll continue to work with municipalities on future funding throughout the next couple of weeks on additional measures that they can take.
The Liberals think the Premier is on the wrong side of this one.
They protect kids. They protect seniors. They keep our roads safe. So what Doug Ford did today by rushing through this is he said no to the chiefs of police. He said no to sick kids.
It's a study by Sick Kids that found cameras cut speeding in school zones by nearly half.
I don't think the speed cameras have been working.
The bill that bans speed cameras will become law on Monday, but you can still be ticketed and have to pay fines until November 14th. That's also the date the government says that signs warning drivers to slow down have to be up. The plan is to add flashing lights by next September. The protection of tenants' rights, a major concern with Bill 60 introduced last week. Some renters feel violated by the bill.
Imagine working so hard and not feeling like you have a home that's secure.
They say tenants already wait up to 18 months to be heard by the landlord and tenant board to tackle serious issues.
Horrible molds, collapsing buildings and units.
The housing minister trying to reassure renters.
Tenants have tremendous protections. That is not changing at all.
Insisting he's not trying to tip the scales in favor of corporate landlords.
It's about balance, and that's what we're trying to restore to the landlord-tenant board, is to bring balance and fairness to all.
Not convincing to tenants who feel they're already at a disadvantage.
This bill is about making it easier for the landlord you already know wants to kick you out, so that they can jack up the rent for the new tenant.
After a wave of backlash, the government has backed off considering ending indefinite leases, but there's worry the move could be revived. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Still to come, the controversy over the handling of skills training money continues. The Labour Minister was under fire again today. CTV's John Woodward will have that story.
But first, a change to the national anthem has raised some eyebrows. Rufus Wainwright sang "O Canada" before Game 5 last night at Dodger Stadium in L.A., and he switched up the lyrics.
True patriot love that only us command.
The Montreal singer sang "That Only Us Command" instead of "In All of Us Command." Wainwright hasn't commented on the lyric change, but it echoed fellow Canadian Chantal Kreviatzik's protest performance at the Four Nations Face-Off hockey final in Boston back in February. She made the same tweak in response to Donald Trump's 51st state comments about Canada. And looking back to the 18-inning marathon that was Tuesday's Game 3, we're getting a sense of how many local fans stayed up to watch the Jays and Dodgers battle it out, only for LA to come out on top. Toronto Hydro estimates about 200,000 TVs stayed on across the city until 3 in the morning on Wednesday. That's 5 times the number of seats at the Rogers Centre, where some fans also stuck it out to the very end.
In the UK, King Charles has stripped younger brother Andrew of his titles, honors, and his home. The prince has come under increasing pressure over his ties to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Buckingham Palace says today's decision was made by the king and had the support of the family. Andrew is being evicted from his royal mansion on the Windsor estate and will move to a private accommodation. The palace says the censures are necessary despite the prince continuing to deny the allegations against him. It says their Majesties want to make it clear their thoughts and sympathies will always be with the victims and survivors of all forms of abuse.
The Prime Minister is in South Korea, where he visited the shipyard of a company vying to build Canada's next fleet of submarines. CTV's Judy Trin has the details.
This is Hanwha's KSS-3 submarine, launched into the sea just in time for the Prime Minister's visit. Mark Carney climbed down 7 meters to check out what the South Koreans want Canada to buy.
I told him we can build a submarine in 6 years.
The Royal Canadian Navy needs to begin replacing its aging fleet by 2035. Of its 4 submarines, only 1 is operational, the others in maintenance.
It's the only technology in the Navy that guarantees that we control our waters. We get to say who comes into our waters, and if they don't have our permission, then we can keep them out.
Hanwha uses robot technology to build its submarines, which will cost about $2 billion each. It's competing with a German-Norwegian venture. Carney toured TKMS over the summer. Its state-of-the-art vessel is still in production. During a visit to Ottawa last week, the CEO didn't provide a cost estimate.
And of course, we will calculate on a base what the customer wants to have, which capabilities should the submarine have. So for us, I think it's too early to shout out a price range.
The Navy wants to buy 12 new submarines. The successful bid must also benefit Canada.
Factors like industrial benefits for the country,
the use of Canadian inputs, materials like steel, the timeliness of the delivery of a submarine, for example, will be important for us.
The federal government says it will choose the winning submarine contractor in 2026, but it could happen earlier. Judy Trin, CTV News, Koje, South Korea.
An apology today from the Canadian Armed Forces to current and former members who have experienced racial discrimination and harassment while serving.
It was delivered by the military's top brass, including the Chief of the Defense Staff. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the details.
Reuben Coward has been out of the military longer than he was in it. But the trauma after years of painful encounters ranging from racial slurs to being passed over for promotions still affect him and his family.
Until we have people willing to move en masse to dismantle and decolonialize this nonsense, it's going to be a chapter and verse in my granddaughter's life, who's only 6.
But decades after Coward's retirement, military members continue to face racism and sexism on the job.
It was extremely hard because I joined when I was 16 years old.
Jay Day says the first racial slur came early in her 17-year career.
I started to receive a lot of negative comments based on my skin color, based on being a very petite woman as well. And that just trickled into so many other feelings of not really feeling proud to wear the uniform.
Today, the Canadian Armed Forces gathered survivors for a long-awaited apology for the treatment racialized members have faced.
I apologize to every CAF member, veteran who experienced racism, discrimination, and harassment. And I acknowledge we failed you.
An acknowledgement the Chief of Defense Staff says marks both a milestone and a difficult day for the military.
We failed to live up to the values we project and promote around the world every day.
But feelings among veterans today are mixed.
The apology, in my humble opinion, is hollow.
May this apology mark not an end, but a beginning.
The military, which recent reports show is becoming more diverse, says that it is committed to real and lasting change, and that this is one step along that path. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still ahead, a visual pledge to honor our veterans. We take you to a special ceremony for the launch of the annual Poppy campaign later in the newscast. Back to Queen's Park now, and the questions surrounding the Skills Development Fund.
There are new questions about the involvement of one person very close to the Minister of Labour, David Piccini's wife. John Woodward joins us now from Queen's Park. John, what have you discovered?
Michelle, Minister Piccini's wife is a lobbyist, and though she never signed up to lobby him directly, there are some apparent connections that have the opposition concerned. Computech College in Durham applied for and got a Skills Development Fund grant to train a class of personal support workers, or PSWs. So did Mississauga Career College, in partnership with the church, to the tune of around $3 million.
Healthcare was a big priority, and that's why we picked actually PSW as the Personal Support Worker Diploma Program.
Those career colleges are members of the advocacy group Career Colleges Ontario. Records show that group hired a lobbyist named Faith Chipman to target a variety of ministries. Among the goals, increasing PSW training. Faith Chipman is the wife of Labour Minister David Piccini, responsible for the Skills Development Fund, prompting Ontario's opposition leader to cry foul.
Once again, it's the friends and family special with this minister.
Potential conflicts of interest involving spouses are often handled with something called an ethics screen, said York University professor Ian Stedman.
The screen would look like someone else's job is to stand in the way of the inbox and make sure that the minister doesn't receive any files from that company or that person, the spouse in this case.
And late Wednesday, Piccini confirmed that's what he has with Chipman.
We work with the Integrity Commissioner, and I take that very seriously.
Piccini didn't confirm a similar screen was in place with the man who put him and his wife in his family's season ticket ringside seats in 2023. A man tied to a company that would go on to get millions in Skills Development Fund grants, something the NDP seized on in question period.
Who paid for those tickets?
I'm glad she's talking about things that happened a year before I even became minister.
Piccini said he paid for those tickets, but not how much. The NDP highlighting that among many connections between the governing PC party and recipients of the grants, though Piccini has said grants went to NDP supporters too. In a statement, Career Colleges Ontario said they don't represent individual colleges. CCO is not involved in these applications and does not have information regarding whether or how many member colleges may have participated. Chipman herself didn't respond to CTV News. Computex said it couldn't tell us any details under the conditions of our agreement. And Mississauga College's Peter Saad said he doesn't think the minister's wife was involved at all.
I don't know who the minister's wife is.
Saad believes their application was approved because of its quality. Now, it's difficult to put all the connections in one news story, but we're going to take a look at a couple more. The church that applied with Mississauga Career College is the same one where the long-term care minister was married, and the head of Career Colleges Ontario is the former Labour minister's wife. Reporting live, I'm John Woodward. Nathan, back to you.
All right. Thank you, John. It's the Milky Way as we've never seen it before. Astronomers have revealed a new expansive color image of our galaxy. This animation compares a new image of the Milky Way to a previous one and demonstrates just how much more can be seen. It's the largest low-frequency radio color image of the galaxy ever assembled and was made across a wide range of radio wavelengths. It took 18 months and 400,000 supercomputers to compile the data. The image can be used to help scientists study the stars.
Now to a special ceremony honoring veterans at Sunnybrook Hospital.
CTV's Janice Golding has more on the launch of the annual Poppy campaign.
A special ceremony at the Sunnybrook Veterans Center this morning for the launch of the annual Poppy campaign.
Makes me think of my old shipmates. They're long gone, but not forgotten.
A day to reflect, remember, and learn.
I think it's really good that we're continuing to remember what's happened from the past.
It really just teaches you to see the world in a different way.
The Honourable Edith Dumont, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, received the first poppy.
They protected our values, so I think we have a space today to appreciate the work of the veterans and how we can nurture their stories so the next generation will understand that we are fortunate to be Canadians.
And retired Major General Richard Romer received the second.
I did 135 missions in my fetter and get shot at all the time.
Major General Romer, who is now 101 years old, has received many awards for his valor and bravery in battle during World War II, including the Distinguished Flying Cross.
It's important to keep all of these memories going, all these actions and all the sacrifices made. It's so long ago.
The Royal Canadian Legion's campaign, which runs from the last Friday in October until November the 11th, sees millions of Canadians purchasing poppies, which serve as a symbol of remembrance, a visual pledge to honor those who have served and sacrificed. The poppies themselves are free, but donations are welcomed. The funds used to support veterans and their families.
A lot of the funds that are raised save lives. We have so many programs for veterans, including service dogs. We have a huge homeless veterans program here in Ontario.
A campaign Canadians can stand behind for the men and women who stood up for our ideals and values. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Coming up, Halloween is tomorrow when neighborhood streets will be brimming with little ghouls and goblins. But is your setup accessible? A local group is working to tackle the barriers for some kids on the big night.
I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, as the temperatures drop, Canadians are making plans to go down south this winter, but many say they will not be going to the U.S. Trade tensions and concerns over crossing the border have more people planning to go further south or to Europe. All of that story, that's just ahead.
Well, it may be hard to believe considering how soggy it is out there right now, but Halloween night looks a lot drier. So kids, this is great news for trick-or-treating, but listen to your parents when they say you have to throw on an extra layer because it will be a little cool and it will also be a little windy. This weather a little different from Los Angeles, but we don't mind. 6 degrees for first pitch tomorrow night, Game 6 of the World Series. Let's go Blue Jays. A full look at your forecast is coming up, and stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
It seems more Canadian snowbirds are deciding to fly elsewhere this winter to avoid the U.S. as their vacation destination.
The number of Canadians crossing the border has been steadily dropping, and a new survey finds the trend is likely to continue well into next year. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Well, thanks, Nathan and Michelle. Next month, many retired Canadians would normally be packing their suitcases to head to Florida, Arizona, and other sunny U.S. destinations. But a new survey shows a massive drop in snowbirds planning to cross the border, choosing other hotspots instead. More Canadians are turning their backs on travel to the U.S., deciding to either stay at home or choose sunny destinations somewhere else. A survey by the Travel Health Insurance Association of Canada found that only 26% are likely to go to the U.S. That's a 37% drop from last year. The survey found of those 61 years of age and older, only 10% are likely to go to the U.S. That's a 66% drop from the year before.
We've certainly seen a move by some to get away from maybe ownership or long-term rentals in the U.S. in favor of other southern climates.
The survey found Canadians are concerned about rising travel costs, political tensions, exchange rates, and safety. The shift comes at a time when the U.S. is introducing new entry requirements, which mean Canadians staying for longer than 30 days need to register and provide their fingerprints, be photographed, and pay a $30 fee.
Having your photo taken and your fingerprints done feels really weird and wrong to us, but the reality is many countries all over the world have already been doing this for the last decade.
Travel expert Barry Choi says while travel to the U.S. is down, he believes many families will continue to go to U.S. attractions, but keep a lower profile and not post on social media. He says snowbirds that own property in the U.S. will also find it hard to stay away.
If someone's a snowbird and they own a vacation home in Florida or Arizona, of course they're going to go.
Canadians avoiding the States are also planning to spend winter months in Europe, including Portugal and Spain. Trips to Mexico and the Caribbean will also depend on the weather and the cost of travel. If American destinations cut prices, it may be enough for some to reconsider a U.S. trip.
If some of the U.S. destinations start to go on sale, maybe that easy trip over the border still prevails.
And wherever you go, if you leave Canada, you're advised to get travel insurance in case of a medical emergency or unexpected health issue. When you're out of the country, both are not covered under Canadian health plans. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
All right, to the forecast. And if I'm a kid, I'm wondering what's bigger tomorrow? Game 6 of the World Series, possibly winning the whole thing, or Halloween? I'm thinking Halloween.
Oh, that's a really tough one. I guess it depends on the kid, but yeah, Halloween. I mean, there's no skipping Halloween, even if there is a World Series clinching game. And what factors into Halloween always is the weather, although I think we're pretty sure that kids don't care if it rains, it snows, or whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to be out there.
That is for sure. I have a feeling that this year we're going to see the trick-or-treating maybe start a little earlier.
Good point.
And end a little earlier so people can get inside and enjoy the game. And you may have noticed in our live shot there, we do still have some wet weather impacting us at this hour. The winds are starting to pick up. The winds are going to stay with us for tomorrow night, but we look to dry out in time for trick-or-treating. So let's talk about what it looked like a little earlier today. We had mostly cloudy skies. Yes, it was unsettled. And as mentioned, those winds are going to start to strengthen. It's just been a bit of a dreary fall storm kind of day. We haven't had too many days like this in the month of October, so it certainly felt like a change. What's in store heading into the first couple of days of November? Well, let's tell you. But first, an update on Hurricane Melissa. This is where the storm is right now. It's picking up a little bit of speed, and it is going to bring hurricane conditions to Bermuda starting tonight. Even though it's not a direct landfall, the island is still going to be impacted for sure. And then as the storm weakens, it makes its way northward, may even clip Newfoundland's Avalon Peninsula, and we are getting a little extra moisture here in southern Ontario as a result of that storm. So there's our low pressure system. Here comes Melissa feeding this low and bringing quite a soaking to parts of Atlantic Canada over the next couple of days here, and maybe some wet snow in places like Quebec and even Ontario. Let me show you in just a moment. Still a little rain to go for us in Toronto, unsettled through the night tonight. There's about 9 p.m. And then into tomorrow morning, still going to be dealing with some showers as we are waking up and heading out the door. But look what happens into the afternoon and the evening. We are going to dry out. Yes, that looks to be some wet snow impacting portions of eastern Ontario. Mostly cloudy in most parts of the GTA for trick-or-treating time. Maybe some sun before that sun sets. It is, however, still going to be windy, and it's going to feel a little cool as a result of those winds. The weekend overall, though, is looking pretty dry. 7 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport. We're looking at a low tonight of about 5, so on the warm side of seasonal, but not a great night to be spending some time outside. It's going to be pretty soggy. Here's tomorrow. Daytime highs, depending on where you are, climbing into the double digits, maybe staying in single-digit territory for others. And yes, a few showers are going to linger, especially for areas east of the GTA. Here's your Halloween forecast. And into the evening, things look pretty good. About 6 degrees for trick-or-treating time, but again, windy. Northwest winds may be gusting to 60 kilometers per hour. Make sure you secure your Halloween decorations, especially those inflatables. 7-day forecast looks like this. 10 degrees for Saturday with a mix of sun and cloud. 11 on Sunday. Lots of sunshine as well. It'll be a chilly start to Sunday with the temperature for a low around 0. But overall, conditions look fairly pleasant through much of next week. Chance of showers on Monday. That's the weather. Michelle, over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Also tonight, building leadership using the universal language. Community Music Schools of Toronto hits all the right notes while helping to remove sound barriers.
For the past 26 years, Community Music Schools of Toronto has been providing music education for kids.
That's being done by removing financial barriers, and they have a major fundraiser coming up. CTV's Pauline Chan has the details.
It's our 9th year for the Community Music Schools of Toronto. We're trying to raise $200,000.
Tony Valley and his band Fig Leaf will be playing at the legendary El Macombo on November 7th. He says music was his joy and passion as a kid.
What was really important is it was available at school. That's not the case anymore. The arts funding is down, music education is down across the province and especially in Toronto.
And I played piano and I played like clarinet and saxophone in school bands growing up.
Bandmate Dennis Dussin says unlike sports, there is a creative and non-competitive aspect to music.
It teaches you perseverance, teaches you discipline.
Community Music Schools of Toronto, or CMST, grew out of the Regent Park School of Music and currently provides weekly music lessons, instruments, and even travel expenses for almost 9,000 downtown kids. Everything from steel pan to ukulele to beats.
It's not just Western classical music. We're currently launching in the next month or so an Indigenous hand drumming class.
And the program has received support from the highest levels, including superstar Taylor Swift.
We had our students work on a sound library, and Taylor Swift, when she learned that it was a community music school, she not only sampled those students, so some of the proceeds from the samples go back into the program.
Executive Director Richard Marcella says although some of their students have gone on to become professional musicians, that's not really the aim.
The true point of our program is to build leadership skills, community leaders for, the next generation.
When you hear that the best part of the week was when they went to the music school, that's very inspiring for us.
Proceeds from the Fig Leaf concert go towards running the program and paying for the 50 professional music instructors with CMST. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Ontario families are now waiting 5 years to get government-funded core autism services for their kids. The Ontario Autism Coalition launched a Freedom of Information request after parents reported an increase in wait times over the past several years. It found more than 84,000 children are registered for the autism program, but fewer than 20,000 are receiving funding to access core services. Those who are now receiving funding signed up for the program 5 years ago. The province says it's making record investments to reduce wait times. It also says everyone registered in the program has immediate access to foundational family services and other supports.
As neighborhoods prepare for Halloween festivities tomorrow, a local group is raising awareness of the barriers keeping some kids from taking part in trick-or-treating. More than 1 in 10 school-age children in Canada identifies as having at least one disability. That can make it difficult for some to go door to door and go up and down steps, and that can often leave them excluded from the fun of Halloween. The group Treat Accessibly says its goal is to raise awareness and encourage homeowners to ensure all kids are included. The founders say they got the idea for the group in 2017 when they spotted a boy on their street who wasn't able to trick or treat because he used a wheelchair.
It's really easy, and it's just by removing barriers when it comes to trick-or-treating. For example, handing out candy at the bottom of your or at the end of your driveway, so kids aren't faced with barriers like going upstairs. And it's just creating an inclusive environment so everyone can participate, because there are many children that don't have this opportunity and are excluded, and it's not fair to them.
What the movement is intended to do is to inspire accessible inclusion on Halloween night, but really it's to educate homeowners about everyday inclusion. Right. Should a child be invited to a birthday or a play date? And when children have disabilities, they tend to not. My daughter's stepping on my foot because I'm getting choked up. And that's her job. But thank you very much. And what the goal is to kind of create for Halloween night the biggest single act of community inclusion.
You can find out more about the initiative and how to support accessible trick-or-treating at treataccessibly.ca.
With movie adaptations having a strong showing at the box office, another major media franchise is making the jump to the big screen. Warner Brothers says a Hello Kitty movie's on the way in 2028. The cartoon feline was introduced by Japanese company Sanrio more than 50 years ago. Since then, the character has become a common sight on toys, clothing, and accessories, and thousands of other products. There's been no word on the plot, but Variety reports the Hello Kitty movie will be directed by Zootopia animator Leo Matsuda, with a script from Wicked writer Dana Fox.
After the break, making life more affordable while making sacrifices. Is it realistic? We preview the Carney government's first budget, set to be unveiled next week.
Babe Schneider, Vladdy Daddy, Plakata. Oh my gosh, the first time ever in a World Series, back-to-back home run to start a game.
Updating our top stories, fans are hoping for more of the same when the Blue Jays try to win the World Series at home tomorrow night. Toronto is up 3-2 in the series against the Dodgers, and we'll have another chance in Game 7 Saturday night if needed.
I don't think they should renew. Then at the very least, they need to have all the other traffic calming measures installed first.
The ban on speed cameras in Toronto will become law on Monday. It was approved in the legislature after being introduced by the province less than 2 weeks ago. The Liberals say the cameras protect kids and seniors and make the road safe. The Premier believes roundabouts and speed bumps will be better to make drivers go slower.
They protected our values, so I think we have a space today to appreciate the work of the veterans and how we can nurture their stories so the next generation will understand that we are fortunate to be Canadians.
A special ceremony at the Sunnybrook Veterans Centre today to begin the annual Poppy campaign. It runs from the last Friday of October to Remembrance Day on November 11th.
And remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos, or video of breaking news, let us know.
In business, all eyes were on Silicon Valley as more tech giants shared their quarterly results. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has those details.
Amazon and Apple reported earnings after the end of the trading day. Let's start with the iPhone maker. iPhone revenue for the quarter came in above $49 billion U.S. The company is getting a boost from its new model, iPhone 17, only introduced last month. Still, Apple narrowly missed the estimate, but analysts aren't too concerned. Amazon reported a strong performance for its web services. Revenue came in above $33 billion for the quarter. That's a 20% improvement from last year. The earnings report sent shares climbing in after-hours trading. Value pricing has helped restaurant brands beat estimates in its latest quarter. It owns Tim Hortons and Burger King. Restaurant brands reported a 4% increase in sales, with revenue reaching close to $2.5 billion. The CEO for Algoma Steel says there's no going back to the way things were. The Canadian company reported about a $500 million loss in its latest quarter, courtesy of American tariffs. Michael Garcia says Algoma will now focus on Canadian projects since applying the U.S. comes with strategic risk. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.49. West Texas Intermediate crude slightly up to 60.57. Western Canadian Select is up to 48.19. And the TSX gained 34 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
Many families are struggling to make ends meet and relying on food banks.
Ottawa has vowed to tackle the cost of living, but how? CTV senior correspondent Heather Wright takes a closer look at what's needed.
In her spare time, Annetta Wozniak bakes cream puffs, tiramisu, beautiful cakes. It's a passion of hers, but also a way to try and make some extra money.
It's a huge challenge to live in downtown Toronto.
Wozniak is one of the millions of Canadians living paycheck to paycheck. She's a single mom and has a job, but is struggling. She uses the food bank where she also volunteers, but fears she may soon be evicted as she struggles to pay rent.
I don't pay fully rent because I don't make enough. My one income, it's not enough for me and my daughter. But I'm doing my best.
With the Carney government set to unveil its first budget next week, people like Wozniak will be watching for anything that might make their lives more affordable. The Liberals have already announced plans to make the National School Food Program, which provides meals to 400,000 children, permanent. Ottawa will also start automatic benefits for the 2026 tax year that will ensure 5.5 million low-income Canadians receive eligible tax breaks, including the GST HST credit, the Canada Child Benefit, and the Canada Disability Benefit. There could also be tax breaks to help those working in skilled trades and personal support workers. But financial experts caution it's unlikely the federal budget will include anything that will make an immediate impact on affordability.
I can't imagine anything in the budget that is going to be even targeted specifically for you that's going to be material enough to take you from being in a situation of financial despair to one of financial success overnight. That's just an unrealistic expectation.
While the government is expected to increase spending in certain areas, the Prime Minister has also warned of sacrifices that will have to be made during this time of economic uncertainty. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Just ahead, stepping back in time at the Bata Shoe Museum. We check out the classic footwear at a new exhibit from one of the world's most legendary designers.
Tonight, a royal title stripped.
We cannot overestimate or underestimate how serious this is.
Why Andrew is no longer a prince and what the disgraced royal is also losing. Later on CTV National News.
And a reminder, the CTV News at 6 podcast is available as a download every weeknight. And a special shout out to those of you listening to the newscast live on Newstalk 1010.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
There's a new exhibit at the Bata Shoe Museum.
And it's showcasing the innovative creations of a 20th century designer. CTV's Jessica Smith got a first-hand look.
Innovation meets design in a new exhibition at the Bata Shoe Museum.
So his innovations range from new materials, the first to do an all rhinestone upper, for example.
Pioneering Italian-French shoe designer Andrea Perugia began creating in the 1920s. His work helping to revolutionize luxury footwear.
This is the first exhibition ever dedicated to his work, and I think as you walk through the exhibition, you can see just how innovative his original designs were.
Each shoe meticulously crafted, inspiring historic artists and designers to form unique collaborations to make one-of-a-kind works of art.
Schiaparelli picked him up right away. They both shared a love of art, and I think you can see that very clearly in this exhibition, especially surrealism.
Although it's not known exactly who invented the stiletto, Perugia is considered one of the first to design the iconic silhouette.
He is the first to do a steel heel, which leads to the invention of the stiletto. And it's just literally amazing, beautiful work.
All leading to inspiration in shoe design still used today.
This exhibition by Perugia lets you walk through history one shoe at a time and will be here at the Bata Shoe Museum through to April of 2027. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
Good day to be in a museum because we've been getting soaked today. Fortunately, Halloween's not a washout.
It won't be. It's going to be a little bit windy, might be a little bit cool, so layers, perhaps the name of the game when it comes to the Halloween costume. But tonight, yes, it is soggy. You need an umbrella if you're venturing out. One more look at the satellite and radar. Yeah, it shows you just how widespread this is. And those colors of yellow and red, those are the heavier bands of rain right now. Tomorrow's high is expected to be about 11 degrees, so that's actually pretty comfortable for this time of year. Of course, we will have those strong winds out of the northwest, so it might not feel all that comfortable. Your Scarecast forecast for tomorrow evening, about 7 degrees by the time the little ones are heading door to door to go trick-or-treating. Here's your World Series forecast, and we've included Friday and Saturday if necessary, but I think we're all thinking good vibes for Friday. Here is the 7-day forecast. Michelle and Nathan.
Thank you, Lindsay. And by the way, before we let you go, we have to note a longtime veteran here at CTV News, producer, manager extraordinaire Ian Caldwell, is retiring. There he is.
He's incredible. Been in the business for 47 years. That's him with his grandson.
Huey, he visited this week, and this is just an incredible member of our team. You have no idea his involvement over 4 decades, and we're going to miss him.
I know. We wish him all the best, and we thank him for everything he's done.
But enjoy that grandson. Enjoy your family. Take care. And that's it for us. Be sure to join Heather Butts tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with our next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, coverage continues on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison, the whole team, thanks for watching. Have a great night. Happy retirement.